Hello and welcome to Culture Class Tomofun Newcomers. I'm Vic, and in this session, we're going to explore a core framework that's fundamental to how we innovate and succeed here: validation and the build, measure, learn loop. Understanding this framework is key to your journey at Tomofun, no matter what department you're in.
Hi everyone, I'm Maggie. Today, we'll demystify these concepts and show you how they are not just abstract theories, but practical tools we use every day at Furbo. This episode will equip you with the knowledge to contribute to our innovation process right from the start.
Let's begin by understanding what validation truly means. The concept comes from the lean startup methodology, pioneered by Eric Ries. At its heart, validation is about testing our assumptions.
Assumptions? What kind of assumptions are we talking about?
Whenever we have an idea for a new feature, a marketing campaign, even a new internal process, we're making assumptions. For example, if we think pet parents will love a treat scheduling feature, that's an assumption. We assume they want it and will find it valuable.
And why is it so important to test these assumptions? Why can't we just assume we know what's best?
Because assumptions can be wrong. No matter how experienced or insightful we are, we can't perfectly predict what customers truly want or how they'll react to something new. Validation is about reducing risk. Instead of spending months building something based on assumptions that might be incorrect, we validate early and often.
So how do we actually perform validation? What's the key tool we use?
The key tool for validation is the MVP, minimum viable product. An MVP is a basic version of our idea that allows us to test our core assumptions with real users. It's not about building a perfect product right away. It's about building something just good enough to get meaningful feedback. Think about some famous examples. Dropbox, for instance, validated their file sharing concept with a simple demo video MVP. They assumed people needed easy file sharing. The video's viral success validated that assumption before they built a complex platform.
And Airbnb validated their home sharing idea by listing air mattresses in their apartment as an MVP. They assumed people would be willing to stay in someone's home. When people paid, it validated their assumptions about the market.
These examples show that validation doesn't need to be complex or expensive. It's about finding the quickest, simplest way to test if our core assumptions are valid before we invest heavily.
Okay, validation makes sense in general. But why is it specifically important here at Tomofun?
Validation is absolutely crucial at Tomofun because it directly aligns with our core value, customer love. We're not just building products, we're building solutions to make pet parents' lives better and strengthen the bond with their pets. To do that effectively, we must deeply understand our customers.
So validation helps us put customer love into action?
Exactly. Validation ensures we're building products and features that our customers actually need and want, not just what we think they need. It's about being truly customer-centric in our innovation process.
And does validation also help us be more efficient as a company?
Definitely. Validation makes us more agile and efficient. By testing assumptions early with MVPs, we avoid wasting time and resources on building features or products that might miss the mark. It allows us to pivot quickly and adapt based on real user feedback.
So validation is essential for both customer love and efficient innovation at Tomofun.
Now, to really bring this idea of MVP validation to life, let's share a special story, Furbo's origin story. This is how we at Furbo actually tested our very first MVP and had a key moment of validation that changed everything. Maggie, why don't you share how Furbo tested our MVP? That's one of my favorite stories.
Of course. When we started, we really wanted to understand what worried dog parents the most. So we sent out surveys to thousands of people. The responses revealed a clear theme. Dog parents felt anxious about leaving their dogs home alone. They worried about their pets feeling bored or suffering from separation anxiety. That insight led to a big question. What if we could create a camera that not only monitored dogs, but also let dog parents interact with them remotely, maybe even toss treats? For our first MVP, we kept it simple, a basic surveillance camera. To test the treat tossing concept, we invited one of our users, a working Wendy, to our office. We asked her to leave her dog in a room and watch through the camera on her phone. The dog stayed inside, and when she said, "Toss a treat," and you secretly tossed treats from behind the sofa.
And I tossed a lot of treats. It was hilarious. I remember the look on that dog's face, totally focused on where the treats were coming from.
And it worked. Her dog perked up, happily ate the treats, and even looked around for more. But the best part was watching Wendy's face light up as she saw her dog distracted and happy. That moment confirmed we were onto something special.
It was such a powerful moment. Combining a simple idea with real user insight showed us how much potential Furbo had.
Absolutely. It's a story we still tell because it reminds us how important it is to deeply understand our users' needs and test ideas quickly to create something truly meaningful.
That's our true story. It really highlights how combining a simple MVP with deep user empathy can lead to incredible innovation. It's a story we still share today because it perfectly captures the essence of validation and customer love at Furbo.
Right. The Working Wendy MVP moment reminds us that understanding our users' needs deeply and testing ideas quickly are fundamental to creating something truly meaningful and impactful. It's the heart of the Furbo story.
Now, let's talk about how we actually apply validation in our product development process at Tomofun. We use the build, measure, learn loop. This is our core methodology for iterative development and customer-centric innovation.
Let's break down each step of the loop. It starts with build, right?
Yes. Build means creating that minimum viable product, MVP, we talked about. It's about building a basic version of our idea quickly and efficiently. The key here is minimum and viable. It's not about perfection, it's about creating something testable.
And after we build the MVP, we move to measure. What do we measure?
Measure is all about gathering data and feedback on our MVP from real users. We want to understand how they interact with it, what they like, what they don't like, and if it's actually solving their problem. We use various methods to measure, like user testing, surveys, and analytics.
And finally, the crucial step, learn.
Learn is where we analyze all the data and feedback we've gathered during the measure phase. We identify key insights, understand what's working and what's not, and most importantly, learn what to do next to improve our product. These learnings then directly inform our next build phase, and the loop continues.
Can you give a concrete example of how we've used the build, measure, learn loop at Furbo to improve a feature?
Absolutely. Let's revisit our Smart Alert feature. Initially, remember, the alert was just dog active. That was our first very basic MVP version. We built a simple alert system.
And then we measured user response to that initial MVP, right?
Exactly. In our Learn sessions, we measured user understanding and satisfaction with the dog active alert. And what we learned was that users were confused. The alert was too vague and didn't provide enough context.
So based on those learnings, we went back to build again, iterating on the Smart Alert feature?
Precisely. We built a refined Smart Alert using AI to make the alerts much more specific. Dog barking, dog playing, etc., directly addressing the confusion we learned about in the measure phase. And then we would continue to measure user response to the new Smart Alert and learn again, continuously improving the feature through the build, measure, learn loop.
So the build, measure, learn loop isn't a one-time process. It's a continuous cycle of improvement. We keep building, measuring, learning, and iterating to create products that truly resonate with our customers and deliver on our promise of customer love.
Exactly. And this framework is applicable to any department at Tomofun, not just product development. Whether you're in marketing, customer support, or operations, thinking in terms of build, measure, learn can help you innovate and improve your processes and strategies.
Let's quickly summarize the key takeaways for mastering validation with the build, measure, learn loop. First, validation is key. Always test your assumptions with real users as early as possible. Don't just assume you know what they want. Second, embrace the MVP. Use minimum viable products to validate your ideas efficiently and gather early feedback. Third, the build, measure, learn loop. Adopt this continuous cycle of iteration to build customer-centric products and features. Build quickly, measure user response, and learn to improve. And lastly, customer love-driven. Remember that validation and build, measure, learn at Tomofun are ultimately driven by our core value of customer love. It's about building products that truly benefit our users and their pets.
By embracing validation and the build, measure, learn loop, we can all contribute to Tomofun's innovation and our mission of connecting pets and people.
Your challenge this week, Tomofun team, is to start applying validation and build, measure, learn thinking in your daily work. Think about a project you're involved in. What are the key assumptions being made? How could you use an MVP approach to test those assumptions? Where can you gather user feedback to learn and iterate?
We encourage you to practice this framework in your own roles, no matter your department. And please share your experiences, your aha moments, and any questions you with us. Let's learn from each other and build a validation-driven culture at Tomofun.
Thanks for joining us on Culture Compass. We hope you now have a solid understanding of validation and the build, measure, learn loop and are ready to use these powerful tools in your work.
See you next time for more Tomofun frameworks, and don't forget to finish the quiz. Let us know your thoughts.
Remember to stay curious, stay lean, and always validate your assumptions.